Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. I especially want to thank our Patreon supporters on patreon.com/fsfilms, particularly our $25 tier supporters, Rowan Parker, Drivian Alexander, Samantha Bates, Cat Waterflame, and Elle, without whom we wouldn't be able to do nearly as much as what we do now. So, thank you all very much for supporting us throughout the years and for tuning in to watch. And if you're watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live! Hello, everybody, and welcome to not Star Wars. I was about to go right into Star Wars for some reason. To Gran Terra Shadowfront, the final days. I'm John, I'm your game master for the evening. Joining me today is Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Titania Valkorian, a Ladrin druid of the Grim Harvest.
And Craig.
Hi, I am a man of constant sorrow, and I am playing Grumman Bellmender, the dwarven drunken master monk.
I feel like that's a lie about both of those people. And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Vespia, Tiefling Chandler.
And William.
Hi, I'm William. I've seen trouble all my days, and I'm playing Valdeth, the dwarven samurai.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I am Jeremy. I am playing Sin, a changeling warlock.
And Cody.
Were you waiting for me to do some joke?
I was
say if
moving
we
on
could do that, I could say my favorite Coen Brothers film, although it's perhaps not the most popular choice for this, is Blood Simple.
Like how I had already gone and Cody, and then you started coming in
Yep.
with the...
I don't give a shit.
Hi, I'm Cody. I'm playing Ithram Valar, Hobgoblin War Wizard, and Dense Wizard.
Dense. He has a very
Dense wizard.
Is a very, very vascular wizard.
Or thick wizard, as Vespia would call him.
And Gent, and Jack.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jack. I'm playing Gent Minar, the half-elf triggermancer spellslinger, and otherwise trained in metallurgical arts before straitened circumstances forced him into a life of aimless wandering.
It's Gak playing Gent, right?
Yep.
Gent Minar?
Pretty damn accurate.
Gent Minor, yes.
Yeah, that's when you get the letter addressed to you, and then you're like, oh, yeah, okay, this is junk mail. I can toss this.
And Camille.
Hi, I'm Alana. I'm in place of Camille today. I am playing Annabella, the human ranger.
See, I keep wanting to say Alessa, and I know that's wrong, and so I just default to Camille instead of saying Alana.
That's fair.
Although,
right.
Imagine Gent being played by Gact. Because you said Gak, and I thought of Gact.
That would Gact playing Gent would be an entirely different character. Anyways,
I also heard Holly say Chandler instead of Channeler. Not what Holly said,
I've
but
been hearing,
I think, what's the deal with all this information? Wait, no, that's
Chandler
Seinfeld. Never
I was
mind.
gonna say, that's Seinfeld. What the fuck are you on about?
Could I be more
wearing more
confused?
clothes.
It's not about candles, but okay.
and as always, Black Lives Matter and trans rights are human rights. So,
Chandler Bong.
Yep. Miss Chandler Bong.
I thought it was Mrs.
Maybe it was. It's been 10 years since I've seen that episode.
when last we left off, speaking of 10 years ago, the Steelhearts had determined that had learned through the aid of Vespia, their new ally, the location, the potential location of the last resting place of the Mage King Kestrel, which would be in the northern, northwestern area of Leftheria, the northern continent of the left two continents, where there's Leftheria and Citisker. Sorry,
Westeria.
a cat just crawled out from underneath my desk and it distracted me.
Do you own a cat? Let's start there.
I don't, but there's a cat staying with me right now. So
Displacer beast. Okay.
No, displacer piece would be if a panther or a jaguar had just crawled out from underneath my desk.
Those are cats, John.
Larger
you didn't
cat.
specify the size.
That's fair. I didn't. However, you also didn't hear me scream or see me get mauled. So
I don't know how you do.
if I were able to befriend a jaguar, you would all know that. That would be a fact on the internet, on a wiki page somewhere.
I mean,
Internet
knowing you,
cameras are
you
relative.
would
You
start
may be
wandering
20
around
feet
with
tall.
2 scimitars.
I would
And
have a jaguar like on me at all times.
Mega
basically.
camera, Jeremy.
Ah.
Anybody?
I got the reference.
We
It
got
took
the
me a second
reference.
to catch your pronunciation of it because that's the first time I've heard it pronounced like that.
Well,
Bit
also because it sounded like you said MAGA camera, which is a different.
I was
thing
gonna
entirely.
say,
Right, yeah.
that's what I heard.
There is a reason that I wanted for years to get a red hat with white writing that said, "Come to Blingdenstone." Nobody would get it.
Oh,
Anyways, so,
This may be our best start ever.
every start's the best start ever because we're still alive.
that got bleak all of a sudden.
Low motherfucking bar.
Hey, I have to have low bars to be happy right now.
Well, I'm a dwarven bartender, so that's kind of my
Hey,
special.
exactly. That's a half-size bar. Anyways, to find more information, they decided to teleport to Kor, the city in the Kingdom of Adal to the north, on Lithuania, and pursue some additional information within the Black Archives of Jack Salzbach, who some of you have not yet visited. We last left off with the group of you actually reaching this squat one-story building with a tall black wooden door with a huge pair of knockers on the front. Huge
Welcome
pair
right
of
on
brass knockers on the front. Several of you had noticed that there was a surprising lack of activity in the city at the moment. Seems like maybe it was under a recent attack because of the plague of demons that has been encroaching on the world. And also that there was an interesting lack of Knights of Adal. Adabella, who is more familiar with the Kingdom of Adal than the rest of you, like as a kingdom, had noted that normally there are some presence of Knights of Adal in any major city within the kingdom, and in this particular case, there seemed to be none. So, the group of you have stopped outside the doors of a squat black building. What are you doing?
Boom, boom, boom.
Knock, knock.
You run up and knock on the door. There's a sort of unearthly ethereal voice that just speaks into your brains. Destination.
The Black Archives.
Oh, don't like that.
Welcome. And the doors slide open on their own. You can perceive nothing beyond the doorway.
Walk on in.
Yep.
That's a new one.
We've been here before.
Titania and Ghent disappear into the blackness.
Whee!
As soon as they cross that threshold, none of you can get any sense that they are there anymore.
Grumman is looking around at the others. So, is this normal here? Because I mean, I'm not exactly getting like a welcoming vibe out of the place.
This particular building, yes, this is normal. Have no worries. And then he walks right in.
Oh,
Vespia will follow right behind him.
So does Nixa.
is anybody? Is wait? Is that everybody?
Well, that's Valdeth. So
Annabelle will
Valdeth,
follow
Annabelle,
as well.
and Grumman
Okay.
are still out.
Annabella follows as well.
Annabelle
Oh,
Wilson.
okay, so now it's just the 2 dwarves.
Yeah, Valus would have gone in already.
Oh, okay.
So Valdeth- Now-
So
now
yeah,
it's
it's just
Grumman.
Grumman.
Did we have a cart or anything?
Your horde, yeah.
Yeah. I'll take out my little magical token. Boop boop. And
The
shrink
Holler's
it.
horde.
Yeah.
Several
put it in my
things
pocket.
fall off because they don't shrink with it.
Yeah, take a deep breath and then head on in.
As you pass through the magical blackness, you find yourselves instantly on the other side of it in a very much larger than the building that you just walked into space. Dark ebony wood with red, sort of like almost blood red runners and carpets sort of decorate this massive, several stories tall library, in which there is stuffed to the rafters an seemingly endless supply of books and stacks. You see stairs going up, sort of spiraling up to the various floors. You see some stairs that actually go down around sort of a back area. It looks like they go underneath the floor of the primary level into basement levels. And immediately ahead of you, sitting at a desk, immediately ahead of you there's a desk strewn with paperwork, and behind it a tall-backed old leather chair in which there is currently slumped a skeletal figure. The skeletal figure is wearing a very nice tailored suit with a top hat, a orange gemmed monocle sort of dangling in the empty socket, and it's just sort of laid back, mouth, jaw dropped open, as if, for all intents and purposes, completely dead.
I'm going to ask a very stupid question. You mean, by skeletal figure, you mean an actual skeleton, not a very thin humanoid?
Yes, an actual skeleton.
Okay.
Good morning, Jack.
Jack.
Hello.
So, as Grummond, as you take in this, the fact that these people are talking to this, seemingly talking to somebody that you don't see, other than the skeleton. So, Titania's been here. Titania, Gent, Ithram, and Valdeth have been here. Vespia, Annabella, Grummond, and Nixia have not, I think.
No, Nix has absolutely been here.
Nixia has been
Yeah.
here? Okay, so
Yeah.
it's just Annabella and
Nixia
Grummond and Vespia that haven't been here before. So, as you call out, hello, Jack, the skeletal figure in the chair, the jaw snaps shut with a resounding bone click, and it rights itself. As it does, you can hear the vertebrae in the back popping as it comes into alignment. Just welcome back to the Black Archives. The figure, sort of eyes land on Titania. Ah, Titania, it's a pleasure to see you up and about. I see the situation has changed.
A little bit, yeah.
Turns, looks at Gent, and Gent. Hi, you're looking almost as good as I do. Turns back towards Valdeth.
Close, not quite.
And Ithram and Valdeth. And the two of you looking lovely as ever. And I see we have one face that I recognize a face of, and three that I do not.
Hello there. Grumman Bellmender of Swiggle. Are you did you sign one of Titania's contracts?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm Jack Salzbach Valkorian. A pleasure to meet you. Grummond of Sigil. Or Swiggle, sorry.
Swiggle, right. Yeah, we get that all the time.
W's are hard with just a skull.
It's true. No lips makes it hard.
Less doors, more pores. Have you tried? No, I've got nothing. I love the polish though. Very nice.
Thank you.
Master Salzbach, I believe you haven't met Vespia and Annabella as well. New additions.
I have
Possible that you and Miss Vespia have a professional overlap as well.
I have not met this Vespia, no.
She'll
Nor
give
this
away.
Annabella. He waves. This skeletal hand waving.
This Annabella?
Yes.
You know
Correct,
another
correct.
Annabella. Okay, that makes sense.
Correct.
Why do I feel like you're saying you know another me?
There's just this. It's hard to read the permanent smile on this skull.
That's not weird at all. Okay, well, Annabella Halia Mercantis, formerly of the Corsi. Pleasure to meet you.
A pleasure as well. So, what can I assist you with today?
Arcane and geographical inquiries, actually.
Of a particular nature.
There's a peninsula to the northwest of the Leftharian continent. Seems to be under some sort of effect or enchantment that makes it impossible to just walk in there. We're looking for more information on how one might possibly be able to access it, like if there are records of an extant teleportation circle in the area, that sort of thing.
Ah. Aye, you've stumbled onto a particular curiosity.
It's a little more specific than we usually go.
Well, and it's a little bit more specific of a curiosity as well. Allow me to direct you, and he thinks for a second. 3 flights up, 2 stacks over.
Thank you very much. And Valda starts walking in that direction.
Yep.
We'll see you over there.
Gent's going to
nods.
hold back very slightly.
Annabella will follow.
Quick
Sorry,
question.
Gent, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Did anyone take any of the pamphlets I left last time?
He gestures to the desk where there are no pamphlets there.
Okay. That's good. Lots of people taking them then.
I wouldn't know.
No, not unless they, Hello. Do you remember people when they come? Because you remembered us when we came back. I don't know. Did Ternalian come and see you?
It's been a very long time since my brother came to see me. I had skin then.
Fair. Okay.
Isn't he the
roaming
reason you
around.
don't have skin?
Yes.
Cool.
On a more personal nature,
Hmm?
is the situation in Taram affecting you at all as a member of the lineage?
Not at the moment. Unlikely to.
All right.
I'm a cursed existence, you see. My lineage is more the library than the God Emperor at this point.
Right. Okay.
And to answer your question, I remember what the library remembers, Titania.
Oh, okay. Since we're here, I had a question as well. Do you have any books on the Reapers of Dagoth?
Down 3 flights, left at the mausoleum.
Okay. I'm gonna head that way.
Do you want company, love?
If you have other stuff to research, that's fine.
Valdeth already took off after the peninsula, and she's quite capable on the geography end of the spectrum. I'll come with you.
Okay.
Is anyone else stopping to ask additional questions of Jack at the
Yes.
desk?
Yes. Jack,
Yes.
if one were to be researching information regarding the first mortal death,
Mm. An obscure subject.
and he will name the name that I do not currently recall, because I know we have a name.
Yeah, it is.
That one.
Hang on.
Morath?
I
Yes,
think it's Morath.
that's
yeah.
it. That is 100% it.
The notes.
Morath, the first to
Yeah.
die.
The first of death. We do have one book. It's actually the same location of your friend. 3 flights down, left at the mausoleum.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right, so Annabella and Valdeth. Who else is going up with Annabelle and Valdeth to the first book location? Ithram?
Yep.
Okay. Grumman and Vespia, were you going up there as well?
Vespia was gonna go with I apologize, Jeremy. What is your current
Nixa.
name? Nixa.
Right,
Yes.
so Vespia's going with Nixa. Craig, where were you going?
I was muted. I apologize. Grumman is following. It sort of immediately followed Titania.
Okay.
Okay.
Was not as polite as Ghent to ask if Titania wanted company, which is immediately followed. And in fact, is trying to ask, sort of pull Titania aside as soon as we get out of.
Oh, okay. Well,
I want to say earshot, but I don't know, like head hole, skull hole shot, whatever you would call it.
Echo distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can pick up that first.
Was it? Did I hear correctly? That's is another relative of yours?
He's like my great uncle or something.
Okay, and the son of the old emperor.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's had a lot of children. The firstborn, that's Ternalian, and then there's a second and a third born. The remind me, John, the like bishop. I think I talked to her. At
Archbishop,
one point.
yeah, Archbishop Terra.
Yeah.
Archbishop Terra was the second
Which
born.
one was she?
She was the
Second.
second born.
Okay, so he might be the third.
Yeah,
I don't
Jack
know
was
for
Jack. You got Jack was the third born. You
Okay.
found that out definitively.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because the first three of the God Emperor's children were effectively demigods themselves.
Yep. Yeah.
Where the rest were more mortals.
Yeah. And they kind of like direct line are sort of demigods, you know.
Hey, so is this the whole bone situation? Is that a result of the lineage, or is that more sort of gestures around to the building or space in which they find themselves? Is that more sort of like a employment perk for working here, or what's?
He said it happened. Ternalian did it to him, and he's not very nice. I don't want to pry, so I didn't really ask.
Wait, Jack's not nice?
No, Ternalian's not nice.
Oh.
Yeah, Jack is I like him. I
Well-
invited him to our wedding. I invited a lot of people to our wedding. Anyway,
Well, that's good. Is it coming?
I don't believe he's RSVP'd yet.
No, he hasn't.
He also can't leave the library, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't be able to.
I'm sure we can get a way around that.
Yeah,
appear
I'm not-
via
Have the
remote.
wedding in the library.
Right, exactly. That's
the
Gent's.
obvious
I was gonna
solution.
say Gent's going for efficiency on this
Oh
solution.
boy. Oh boy.
If we really wanted to make sure that he's able to attend, we could always.
Yeah. I don't know if I want all my relatives to attend at this point. That might be bad.
I mean, I can think of maybe one or two of our extended families, both that
Yeah.
probably shouldn't be
Uh-huh. Yeah.
appearing in social situations with other people we care about.
Uh-huh. Sort of for preservation of life and limb.
Well, and there's also the, rather literal approach we might take to pruning the guest list.
Grumman reaches up and sort of reassuringly pats Titania's elbow and says, "Well, it was nice that at least you thought
I'm
to
like
extend
as
the
tall as
invitation."
you. I'm 5 foot.
Okay, all right.
Valdeth and I are the same height. We're
Well,
short.
then it sort of reaches over and pats
Okay.
the elbow. Well,
You're like Grumman's a relatively short dwarf and Valdez a relatively tall dwarf, so I think there's
Yeah.
still a slight height difference.
Anyway.
only about 6 inches though. Grumman's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
4.5 feet. But yeah, I just reached over, pat you. Well, it was nice that you thought to invite him. If you want to find out more, I could go back and talk to him. Never.
I'm also
been
right
much of a-
here, Jack says, as you arrive at your destination and Jack
Yeah,
is
he
already
does
standing
that.
there.
Too.
Oh, Well, that's convenient. Well, I can just talk to him right here.
You absolutely could, but first, perhaps you'd like to take a look behind the stack. As he reaches over and pulls a book, and as he does, the wall of books that you have ended up next to as you have passed what was actually a mausoleum. You actually walked past it was a full-on like crypt building inside the library.
Was there a plaque on that saying who
Yeah,
or what
it
it
was
contained
there.
at all?
It said, "Here lies," and the name was scratched out.
Are
Okay.
the bones alphabetical?
He pulls a book, and the wall of books there that the group of you, which is everyone except for Annabella, Ithram, and Valdeth, the actual stack itself slides physically to one side, and he gestures inside. Welcome to our limited access archive.
For clarification, Craig, they're alphabetical.
Very good.
And
I
he
approve.
gestures inside.
I found that very humorous.
I
There you
was
go.
waiting for some point.
Metatarsals.
Just shouting a bone at that.
He
I
is
go
gestured
inside. Look around.
Presumably you all go in. The stacks close behind you. Notably, Jack does not follow, but as the stacks finish closing, Jack's already there. So you'll notice that the particular limited access in this particular archive is, well, the library's own, as he gestures, and you watch the shelves in this particular section are bare. This is the only
Why?
place in the entire library that you've ever found that has no books. There are 3 books in total in this entire section, and they are on pedestals in the middle of the room. Well, there are some things, some aspects of the world which defy
Recording, cataloging. Yeah.
Yes, defy cataloging. And in this particular instance, the subjects that you have both, he says, indicating to Titania and Titania and to
Nixa.
Nixa, have requested is very limited in nature. We have one book precisely on the subject of Dagoth's Reapers. He says, pointing to one of the books, which is this black leather-bound tome that looks to have been engraved with gold. But as you look a little bit closer, you realize it is simply yellowed bone that has been added into it for the embossing. The paper itself seems ancient. Like as you look at it from the side, it's just this old, crumpled, dried out parchment. And one on the subject of death as a concept and its origins. And he says, gesturing towards another one. This one is less a book and more, it's more just like a freely bound collection of papers that seem to have been crafted, like paper that seems to have been crafted from something other than regular parchment. It's odd. It's sort of, there's no real color to it, and it seems vaguely ethereal and more cloth-like than regular parchment or paper. And it's sort of just bound with this red ribbon that holds the whole thing together. There's no actual like cover or anything to it.
Right.
These will be the only 2 books on the subject, as it were.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be here if you need any assistance with the translation, though I suspect that you all have that covered to some degree. Any of you that would like to read these particular books may roll investigation checks. If anyone would like to assist rather than rolling individually, you can give someone else advantage.
I'm gonna try and read.
I've got a 5 to my investigation mod to be
Oh.
meta about it.
I am definitely reading through yeah.
So I'll try and read. Boop. Wow. Good thing Vespa's
Wow.
here.
Ah.
Nixon just glares at the book.
Oh shit!
no.
Wrong one. Sucks because my investigation was slightly better, so we know this is gonna. Yeah, that was gonna fucking happen.
Open up the book and where are you?
The book says nothing, then you start reading it. All right.
And Gent was intending to look at the third book just because it's like, well, obviously, Titania's going to look at her book. Nyx is going to look at her book. What's this third one?
So we'll get back to that in a second, unless Grumman, do you want to add something in?
I'm not helping with the books. I had a question, but
Go ahead.
about another book, but we can certainly come back to that.
Okay. Meanwhile, Valdeth, Ithram, and Annabella, you all head up 8 flights over 2 stacks. And when you arrive at your destination, there's Jack waiting. Welcome. I hope the stairs up weren't too difficult for you.
I've had much worse series of stairs.
That's interesting. I was about to say the exact same thing.
I think we've experienced the same flights of stairs as well.
Spent the last few months exclusively living in the tower, but not as many stairs. It was not bad though.
Ithram's like just slightly breathing
Just
heavy.
slightly winded.
Well, if you would please, this way for your inquisition. And he puts a finger on one of the books and pulls. And as he does, the stack slides, revealing another series of books inside.
I will step in to look at.
Do any of these have artistic representations of the area?
Potentially. We'll find out.
All right.
Here you go.
Walks in like this.
The door, the stack slides back closed, and Jack is already on the other side of it without having coming through. You'll find in here a variety of texts relating to ancient kingdoms of lore, and some lost kingdoms from other planes of existence here and there. If you're looking for visual depictions, the atlases and historical maps are on the left-hand side. The more novelization and history as narrative on the right-hand side, and the slightly more dry autobiographical pieces and non-autobiographical pieces are in the central shelves. Please. Take
I imagine records of
are,
teleportation circles would be in non-fiction then.
Potentially.
Well, Ithram, I guess we start digging.
One moment, and he cracks his knuckles and then reaches out and taps both of you on the shoulders and is going to cast enhance ability at 3rd level on both of you.
And assume it'd be also yourself.
No, just you two.
All right.
What ability are you enhancing?
Intelligence, I'm assuming?
Yes, Fox's cunning.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You would have advantage on intelligence checks until the spell ends. Go ahead, everyone, make investigation checks. The 3 of you make investigation checks. Which stack are you looking through individually?
I'll be looking. Ithram, do you want to handle the search for the teleportation circle while I try and find potentially accurate map geography?
Yes, I'll be looking for the circle or perhaps any books that have depictions of the region, because if I have at least a small description.
Yeah, so I'll start looking through the maps and geography, and Ithram handles.
Yeah, I'll look
magic
for
circle.
teleportation circle.
Annabella?
What do you think I should look up, Valdeth?
If you can find any relevant historical records that might tell us what we saw, that what we can expect there, any particular dangers, any particular stories about their armed forces that might still potentially be a magical threat, any figures of note, etc.
Okay. And we're rolling with advantage, right, John?
Two of you are. I don't know about Ithram.
Yes.
I can, if I need to.
Fucking. I have an inspiration. Use the thing. That's better.
Okay. So, 29, 24, or sorry, 20, 24, 18. All right. We'll start with the downstairs crew. Drummond, what was your question while the others are looking through books? Because it's going to take a while for everyone to read through books.
Yeah, he would want to ask. He wanted to ask that question to Titania first, but then would say, "I was wondering, do you have any books that reference great big pile of ice called the Everglacier, or the Ever Ice that makes it up?"
Well, certainly. We have a number of natural research documentation and some mythological tales and some historical data referring to the Everglacier. Not in this particular section, though. That's going to be on the ground floor, 3 stacks over from the desk.
Great. Oh, okay. I assume I'll find you up there.
If you'd like. And he reaches over and pulls one of the books, and the stack that had slid open to reveal this area slides open again.
All right. I'll be upstairs then. Good luck. And we'll, unless anybody needs him for anything down here, we'll go upstairs.
All right. So with the crew that's downstairs, so Titania, you're reading
Yep.
about Dagoth's Reapers.
Uh-huh.
What you find for the most part is very vague, general, like vague descriptors of encounters that have been had with Reapers.
Mm-hmm.
You learn that apparently there is a card in the deck of many things that can summon a Reaper. There are various rituals that people have tried, none of which are confirmed because the people that did the rituals died. Either they died because they summoned a Reaper, or they died because the ritual was wrong, but the person writing the book doesn't really know how to confirm that in any way, shape, or form.
Fair.
You do learn that first of all, the author of this book is potentially still alive, as it's fairly recently published. This book in particular was published by a self-described adventuring scientist that operates out of the Shattered Lands, who sort of writes a series. This is like one in a series of books. He has that little like excerpt in the back that says, "If you like this, try these other books from this author." He seems to be a fairly prolific author, if this book is to tell anything, but seems to be somebody who like makes a living off of delving into secret areas or unexplored areas and writing about them. He seems to know where you might find a number of these rituals, considering that he is familiar with how the rituals were performed. He doesn't really know what the end result of the rituals actually were, because obviously, again, he can't confirm how the people that died. He does note that there are certain places where Dagoth's power seems to be stronger, and in those places it is more likely that you might be able to summon a Reaper with a potential ritual. Places like graveyards, swamps, mass graves, any place where a lot of death has happened, so battlefields, things like that. Mostly it's just sort of a collection of basically ghost stories, once you get to the end of it. Like, ghost stories based on real happenings, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a name for that guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yes. The name is Durgi. I will spell that in the thing. Hang on.
Okay.
It's Durgi, and then there's like a an appellation of an adventurer, adventuring scholar extraordinaire kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not how
Um,
I would have spelled it. Cool.
Ghent. We'll get to what Vespia and Sen find in a minute. But Ghent, go ahead and roll me a Constitution save as you pick up the third book.
Hey, I'm terrible at these.
Oh boy.
That's a 5.
So you pick up this book and begin reading. And you don't really know what it is you're reading, but it seems like it's taking a long time. And we'll get back to what that means in a second, because right now we're going to take a break. It's a little bit of an early break, but things are needed to be done, so we're going to take a break a little bit earlier. We'll get back in just a few minutes. If you're watching live, please feel free to stay tuned for these commercial messages. And also remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you need to do. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're back. A dinosaur story. So, Gent, you are reading a very good book. Well, you're reading a very
Awesome.
boring book
Cool.
to you, but to everyone else, it seems like you're reading a good book.
Fantastic.
Which face are you currently on, Jeremy?
Nixa.
Nixa. Nixa and Vespia, you were both going through the death book?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you open this up and you realize at first glance that this is not a book written by a mortal hand. It looks like it could be written by a mortal hand, except Nixia, for you the text keeps changing. As you're reading it, the text keeps changing between languages you know.
Okay.
And as you're reading it, you realize it's changing to the native language of each of your different forms.
Okay.
Like as you're reading. And Vespia,
Assumed forms, you mean?
Yeah, your various assumed forms. Yeah, you're like your primary identities.
Right.
It's sort of bouncing back and forth between their, those native languages for each of those, what you know for them.
Yep.
And Vespia, you're reading it in your native language as well. And you can both sort of confirm that you're not seeing the same text as you're reading it. Sorry, there's something in my teeth. I should have done eating a taco, and something got left behind. Anyways. But as you're reading, this seems to be a book on the machinations of death in general, and basically what the impacts of death are on sort of the cosmic scale as opposed to a more biological aspect.
I'm not sure if that was a comment on food hygiene or Lovecraftian horror.
Could be both.
Got left behind.
I was going to say yes.
Yeah, could be both.
Yeah.
That is the way I like to describe my Lovecraftian monsters. It's vague, determinism. But yeah, so you're sort of seeing, you're basically seeing somebody's journal notations on the mathematics of death and what happens to souls after they die, how they feed into various divine energy cycles, and why it's good for a functioning society and functioning religious belief and functioning like world to basically not have everyone be immortal.
Right.
And as you're reading through it, it seems like it references a time in creation when death was not a thing. A time before the concept of death had been created. And it seems that from what you're reading, the first mortal death wasn't just the first thing to have lived to have died. It was the inception of the concept of death into creation.
Okay.
Which means that whatever caused it or whatever resulted from it has that power of conception, that power of creation behind it, which is a power that gods wield. And so as you're sort of parsing through this information, basically whatever it is that resulted from this, and you're still not getting any like hard and fast data, but you're getting more of an idea of what it is you might be looking for. If there was anything left behind or anything that was made from this death, it itself would also carry that conceptual power. And so that ability to introduce this concept into a system that does not have it. So you would be able to, as an example, if you were to figure out how to harness whatever happened or whatever it was, you would be able to introduce the concept of death to a deathless being.
Right.
And the repercussions therein.
Repercussions.
Yes, that one.
Interesting.
So as the three of you,
Per-
Titania, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, God damn it, what's the name of the god of death?
Dagoth.
Dagoth.
Dagoth. Perhaps something about their creation might lead us to other avenues.
Possibly.
It might not be a bad idea, anyways, to look into Dagoth. If anybody knows how to actually kill a god, they might be related aspects, or it might just be another avenue.
We will add it to our list. I think we need to prioritize things.
Agreed.
So the three of you, Titania, Vespia, and Nixia, or Nixa, finish your various research. It's been a few hours. And you sort of almost in unison close books as you are digesting the information you've discovered. And you notice that Gent is still just sort of standing there staring at this book.
Eh,
No reaction.
Is it good?
He seems to be flipping a page
Uh-huh.
and then flipping it back. And then flipping the page, flipping it back.
Hey, I'm gonna go over and take a look.
Both pages
Oh.
are blank.
Hey, Gant, are you? I'm gonna like sort of push on his shoulder, try and get his attention.
No reaction.
Okay.
Vespia is going to walk over and try to take the book.
And you try to you sort of grab the book. Make a Constitution saving throw for me.
All right. $26.
Thanks. Yeah.
Nice.
You grab the book and you're not able to pull it free. You feel something like grab you, but not in a physical way. You feel like as if something reached in and grabbed you and tried to unanchor you from your body, and you sort of let go instinctively.
Titania, darling, Gent may not be there anymore.
Let's try something, shall we?
What do you mean?
When I touched the book, something tried to pull me out of my body.
Yes, we're not having any of this. Nixa will really quick run through some motions and cast Dispel Magic on Gent.
Okay. Go ahead and make a what level spell are you casting it at? I know you're at fixed levels. But...
Yeah, max level. So my max wizard or warlock level is 5th.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
Okay. 23.
All right. So yeah, you reach over and just dispel magic, and whatever was holding Gent lets go. Gent, you let go of that book,
Bloop.
and you don't remember reading anything. You don't really know what you've been doing for however long you've been doing it, but you have knowledge in your brain. You don't remember reading, but it's there. It's accessible.
Oop.
Specifically, you have you know that there is the place that you're looking for, the peninsula, is locked in space and time. It's been basically it has been in its entirety slipped out of the material dimension, but only halfway. So like it's still there physically. The peninsula is still there, but nobody can get to it. The entrance to it, is in the ethereal realm, but it's guarded,
Okay.
and that's just in your brain. You don't know where it was. You don't remember reading it.
Okay. Well,
All
that's
right.
interesting.
You were kind of staring at the book. I don't think you should. We should probably be touching it anymore.
All
Something
right.
did something take hold of you?
Insight, inspiration, maybe?
Okay.
Look, I don't know how to quite explain this, but the peninsula we're trying to get to, the entrance is apparently in the ethereal realm. Guarded, but
Wow.
I don't know how I know this, but I do.
Okay.
Jack, who is standing off to one side, just tilts ahead.
What's this book that I was just reading, Jack?
I don't know.
That's unusual for you, isn't it?
Yes, I don't even know how it got there. And I know what the library knows, but apparently the library doesn't know that.
Well,
Do I think I could pick up this book, keeping it closed, not reading it, and just put it back on the pedestal?
It's on the pedestal.
It's on the pedestal. It's
Yeah.
where it was before
Yeah.
I.
Yeah, you never really picked it up. You just sort of like touched it and then started flipping the
Okay.
page back and forth.
Gotcha. Well, apparently it's a very helpful book if it doesn't do whatever apparently it did to me without letting you go. How did I get out of that? Thank you very much.
of course. I should be the one to point out. I know I'm not the person who is normally one to talk about playing things safe, but we should wonder the motives of somebody who was able to insert a book who Jack does not recognize into the library where it can be conveniently read by us regarding a major point in our goals.
Jack sort of leans over. To be fair, there's no actual information in this book.
That's my point exactly.
Oh, I recognize this fucking goddamn book.
Interesting.
It is a bit concerning.
If the book is some conduit for
Information.
some entity to impart information through, who perhaps does not want to be identified.
Can
We must wonder
Vespia
why.
investigate the book without actually touching it?
Sure, give me an investigation check. At disadvantage since you're not touching it.
Because right here, author
And-
Jay Bates.
Nat one.
From what you can tell, it doesn't have any distinctive binding. It doesn't have any distinctive paper. The pages you can see that are open right now are blank. There's nothing really identifiable about it.
Mhm. Mm.
Well, I'd be careful of that then going forward, I suppose.
It's still information that obviously we need. So I'm not saying we should ignore it entirely. I'm just saying we should consider the motives of who gave it to us and be ready.
And Gent doesn't have any particular inclination to believe or have any There's not a way that he could check to be like, is this false bait information that's going to get us murdered if we follow it, kind of thing?
It's information that is in your brain. Whether or not it's
Okay.
true, you cannot tell. It's just in
Right.
you believe it to be true because it's in your brain.
All right.
Well, that's super useful. I can go into the ethereal plane. One thing.
Can you bring anybody else with you?
Hang on, let me check my thing real quick. I don't think so, but I want to double check.
Yes, I can
it's-
bring a squirrel. Pick your favorite one.
Tippy Joe.
No, it's just me, but
All right.
if it's just me.
Well, there are certainly ways for us as a group to get there, not necessarily ones we have access to between only us.
Yeah.
Planar shift, gates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I can prepare, I can do a planar shift, but I'd need something to like attune, like resonate with.
If you can travel by yourself to the ethereal plane, can you get something to attune?
Possibly. It's got to be, if I'm remembering the spell right, I think it has to be worth a certain amount, but presumably I might be able to find something. Yeah, possibly.
Going astral antiquing.
Meanwhile, Ithram,
Ethereal pickers.
Valdeth, and Annabella.
Yes.
Valdeth, you're sort of looking through the atlas, the older atlases and maps of the area. You do find reference to a kingdom from a very, very old atlas. There's no land indication there. It does seem to be from a time when the Eastfeld was less east, and more feld, when it was much less frozen wasteland, basically. There was at one point a variety of kingdoms that had land there, and this one in particular was sort of left off to one side, noted as not a particular issue. Didn't really seem interested in expanding or claiming any territory beyond the potential that it had, and no one at the time could really see any value in acquiring that peninsula, so it seemed to be left alone, as far as you can tell from the way the maps are sort of indicating resources and indicating, land ownership. Eventually, at some point, long time ago, those kingdoms all basically dissolved or moved south into the highlands, and now there are some communities up there, but no solid governmental forces are there. And at a certain point, that peninsula just stopped getting included on maps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's still there geographically, but like it's no longer like listed as a political entity or anything.
It's just an abandoned peninsula.
Yeah.
In the middle of the Eastfeld.
Mm-hmm. No, middle of the coast, but yeah.
On the edge of the Eastfeld. Yeah.
Annabella, what was it that you were looking for again?
I was making sure I wasn't muted. I was looking for any information historically that would help us to know anything about the area or the what we're looking for that would make it easier.
So similarly, you learn the variety of different kingdoms that rose and fell in the area before eventually moving south to the highlands. Looking sort of geographically, you find that there are scattered nomadic barbarian communities amongst in the Eastfeld that make their home there. That basically wander from campground to campground, living off the land and living off any creatures or game that's up there. Nothing uses that peninsula as far as any records you find. Nothing ever goes there. Nothing ever comes from there. The closest thing you have to anything related to the peninsula that goes on, there are some communities in the Northern Highlands that sort of use it as a guiding mark, just like sort of as an indication of where land is when they're out at sea or where the coast is when they're on land. Because it's very visible from quite a distance away, but there's no record of anybody going there or any indication of it ever having been populated, as far as you're able to find in historical record. You do find some older historical record that indicates it as a point of escape for people escaping, war, poverty,
Refugees and stuff.
criminal activity, refugees, people that have been exiled. When it was more commonplace and not as common and not as routinely stomped out as it is now in Leftheria, largely thanks to the influence of the Kingdom of Adal, escaped slaves would head there. Again, that's not really a thing anymore in Leftheria. But when it was, that would be an escape point. You do find one excerpt that seems weird to you that sort of stands out. Someone who claimed to have been exploring a ruin site of the Desolation Titan was recovered near the peninsula. They're not sure how they got to the peninsula or how they got in that area, but they had been exploring a ruin within the Titan. And for those that are unfamiliar, the eastern coast of Desolation is almost entirely formed by the corpse of a Titan. That is the length of Desolation. And yeah, that's
How long ago was this?
That was a couple hundred years ago. So that's the one big thing that stands out for you. Ephraim, you're looking for what again?
Teleportation circles, possible teleportation circles for old kingdoms in that area. And also just if there's any like I guess artistic if there's any art of the area, like landscapes of like old cities or old sections of the peninsula, like an old port picture or something like that, something that would fit in that area.
You don't find any illustrations or pictures or anything of anything. You do find reference to a teleportation circle, not any sort of coordinates.
Okay.
But you do find reference to a teleportation circle that existed not in the peninsula, but in one of the kingdoms near it. Hang on, let me find the name here. There was what was known as the Tyrant Orichalria. Apparently made regular use of a teleportation circle for troop movements in the area.
Okay.
That's how it's noted historically. You don't really get much more information behind that. So it's hard to tell exactly who or what the Tyrant Orichalria was.
I have a spell for that. Possibly.
I'm just gonna use the spelling right now. Orichalira. That. The Tyrant Orichalria. Calira. I can't pronounce my own names.
I've been there.
I did it phonetically in my head, and I will say
Orichalira.
Orichalira. Look at all that. People changing positions.
Musical cameras.
Yeah, musical cameras. But yeah, so that's the only reference to a teleportation circle you're able to find. Apparently they had a teleportation circle somewhere near the peninsula, but you're not really exactly certain where.
Yeah.
So that's what the three of you find after a couple hours of searching.
Okay. After that, Jack. Excuse
Yes.
me. Are you? There you are.
He hasn't moved. He's just been saying they're watching over the three of you the whole time.
Yeah, but he just looks straight up and like, okay, there you go. It's still behind me. Cool. Uh, do you have any information on this individual, Outer Caloria? A tyrant.
You see him think for a moment. No documentation that comes to mind. No.
All right then.
Which isn't to say that there's nothing. I've recently learned that there are books in this library that I'm not aware of.
I'm sorry, what?
Which isn't to say that there's nothing. I've recently learned that there are books in this library I'm not aware of.
Does this have anything to do with the other group?
Yes.
Is everybody in one piece?
No, they're in several distinct pieces.
Not they themselves in one amorphous blob, but each individual is in.
Each individual is
good
in one
health.
distinct. Yes, each individual is in one distinct piece and good health, as far as I can tell physically. I'm not sure about mentally.
That's his own problem.
Yeah. So long as nobody is bleeding or in pieces, I think we're good.
I've got some geographic notes that I can share.
Yes, what did you find?
I regurgitate information.
Not much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot, but there's some. All right. Before we finish up, Jack, would you happen to know if there's any information here about the mortal blade of Nyereza?
Yes. 3 flights down, past the forge.
All right. I'll have to take a look at that forge as well.
Certainly.
I pass along the information I was able to find as well.
Okay. So you have that information that somebody was teleported, somebody seemed to have been teleported there or found their way there somehow from investigating a ruin amidst the Titan's bones. There used to be many kingdoms there, and at least one of those kingdoms was run by a tyrant who had a teleportation circle.
Yes. I'll clear off a space on the table, set out my 4 ivory strips in their square configuration, split what incense I have left in half, and spend the next 10 minutes casting legend lore with Aura Caloria. Jesus, it's right in front of me and I still can't. As the focus while Valdeth goes
You
to
learn. After 10 minutes, you learn that Aracaloria was a golden great worm who had been trapped in a mortal body. While in that mortal body, he raised a kingdom. He was known as a tyrant, but only by opposing kingdoms. He was never labeled that by his own subjects, for whatever that's worth. And as far as legend goes, he disappeared from the fabric of history a few thousand years ago.
Okay, so disappeared from history as in like nobody recorded where they were. Oh yeah, no, trapped in a mortal body, so probably died. Safe to assume.
To live a mortal fleeting lifespan of a mere 100 years.
Yeah, he was. The legend lore does not indicate whether or not he was ever able to get rid of the curse. So
Okay.
That did not pass on into legend.
Okay.
yeah, no, breaking curses typically does. It's getting the curse passes on to legend. Breaking the curse rarely does.
Occasionally.
That gives me an idea, though.
Because historically, curses don't get broken.
Yeah, having suffered one myself and looking at the 6 hit points I'll never get back. It's everything to a wizard.
Those 6 hit points can be the difference between life and death.
I mean, 6 hit points can be a whole level for a wizard.
It
6 hit
objectively
points
level
is
for a
more
wizard.
than a level for a wizard.
No, they have a D6 hit die. So if they're rolling hit points, that can be a whole level.
Can be.
As it can be.
If they have, wizards don't have to dump their con stat.
Yeah, this one didn't. But all right. Yeah, no, I got an idea now. So after that, he'll pack up his stuff and go meet up with Valdeth at the forge, or yeah,
Meanwhile,
where they're looking.
Grummond,
Yes.
you have made your way to another series of bookshelves that have been opened by Jack, who was waiting for you, indeed, as you suspected.
Presumably the old stacks of National Geographics.
You have been ushered into a sort of a closed-off series of bookshelves, all of which are lined with various shorter paged books that have brightly colored fronts, all of which depict some sort of landmass or animal. You get the vague sensation that they might be meant for children.
Maybe it's the tour guide section. You never know.
There's like a little sigh of relief, and then I will start going through them.
Yeah, you found the Black Archive equivalent of Nat Geo Kids. And go ahead and make me an investigation check with advantage because it's information designed to be easy to absorb.
Excellent. I especially love these about the famous ranger, Rick.
No.
Let's see.
Read the shit out of that growing up.
Let's see. Nope, that's intimidation.
Don't yell at the books.
This one has.
Hey, well, that's a good span. I got a 1 and a 19, so an 18 total.
Nice. This is why Jack brought you to the kids section.
Yay! I like Jack.
Jack's like, this person is not a good study. Let's get.
You're
to
not
the
half
easy
bad either,
study
bud.
books.
Oh no, fuck you. I'm in the skeleton one.
Never mind, I misspoke.
Also, in fairness, I heard you say ranger and I heard and I assumed it was going in a different direction
And Ranger Rick.
than that. Yes.
Okay.
There is a well-known ranger whose name rhymes with that.
Oh yeah.
Drist. Anyways, with an 18, you learn that ice is, the solid form of water after it's been left out in the cold for a very long time. There are
It's
things called
bigger.
yeah.
Furious notes.
It expands as the water molecules slow down. The space between them expands, and so they get
What
Y'all
ice
look what
larger.
It does that.
Expands.
Yeah.
Nice.
One of the only compositions that actually expands in solid form.
Yeah.
You learn that there are penguins in places where there's lots of ice, and that they
Oh.
have, blubber that keeps them warm, or fur, or one of the two, both combination.
Oh God.
Nope,
I don't
neither
know.
one.
Neither
Nope.
one of those.
I just saw. I
have no
just
idea.
saw in real time the light die in Mara's,
Mara's
eyes.
I was so happy to be able to do that. It was great.
You just saw all
Penguins are birds. They don't have fur.
You saw all
100% though. This is
hope
what, and, look,
and
these are-
warmth
these are not
die.
good Ricks. This is the information that Drummond is getting, though. He's like, penguins, warm fur, huge tusks, aquatic
Apparently-
mammal.
Apparently, they have their own like royalty. They've got some that are called emperors.
It's just like it's like a printer error. The issue was supposed to be about walruses, but they transposed the label.
Primarily eat shellfish.
But nothing about Ever Ice, I'm assuming.
You do find.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
that-
I am excited about the reliability of this information.
You find that adult male penguins are called cocks. Put that in the book. Anyway.
What else would you call them?
You find that there is there's a location referred to as the Everglacier. Is in Perdera, which is the southern pole.
Okay.
It is. It's basically a glacier that it doesn't matter how hot it gets or how they have depictions of like dragons breathing fire on it and spellcasters throwing fire at it and it doesn't seem to matter how much heat or flame you apply to it, it never melts. As far as this book is concerned, it is the consistency of ice. It just seems to be magically reinforced to a point that it will never not be ice.
Okay. Anything more detailed beyond that, or not so much?
No, it's very basic sort of level of information as to what it is, and
Okay.
they don't go too deep into magical theory on this.
But the pictures are pretty good.
They're very good. Lots of very well crafted paintings. Apparently, according to this, a penguin is like at least 3 times the size of a dwarf, and has like this has a large steel crown and like razor blade wings.
Also, very few of them have achieved graduate degrees.
I'm gonna pull out the little card insert in the issue that I'm reading, and get a subscription for my grandkids.
You pull out a card from a second one to get a subscription for you.
No, I'll read their issues. I don't know what my address is going to be for the next year, and
That's
we might all
fair.
die. So
That's
I'll give the grandkids something to read.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll go through. I'll get 4 of them. I'll send one to Hedda's house for Valdemar and Alba. I'll send one to Axel's house for Nils and Sigurda. I'll send one to Poppy for all of her kids, and I'll send one to Keg for Rockles.
All of your kids are going to be like, what the fuck is dad doing now, as they all get these subscriptions?
This is probably a fairly regular thing. They're like I feel like his son Axel is like, oh, what am I gonna do with this subscription to Fantasy Better Homes and Gardens? Like on a regular basis.
What aren't you gonna do?
Yeah,
So-
so that's the information you find.
Great.
Now, fully
Not
abreast.
a
fully
tremendous
abreast with.
amount new on Ever Ice, but I'm fucking terrified of penguins now.
Oh yeah. Fully abreast now of the danger that penguins represent, especially their
Holy
emperors
shit.
and kings. You know, no gods, no kings, only emperor penguins.
Is that what the apotheosis is? We're just gonna snag a penguin and be like, all right,
Sick him.
Just murdered by a penguin. Razor sharp wings.
It is actually a giant penguin under Tehran that we need to awaken.
No, it's an armadillo.
It's a penguidillo.
I was gonna say it is a fusion of penguin and armadillo.
It's an armadillo.
Well,
It's a
clearly.
penguin.
What-
It's a combination penguin armadillo.
Well, I know what the first thing that y'all were gonna face off against whenever I run that Avatar: The Last Airbender game is
A penguidillo.
Yes.
Penguin Dillo.
Yes.
That's just a
Penguidillo.
pangolin.
Amazing.
Let's be honest here.
No, Penguidillo is like a pangolin, but much less apologetic in its stature all the time.
Okay. That's fair.
Much more
penguins do look
aggressive.
like they're apologizing all the time.
I have another weird animal fact. Pangolins have the base of their tongue is attached to their sternum and it wraps around their brain.
Nope,
Oh, that's
absolutely not.
That's the
there's some
crazy thing
things you
about
don't know about
facts.
woodpecker tongues, then, Jeremy, as well.
You ever ju-
Absolutely not.
You ever just have someone so deep they're licking your brain? Anyways.
So anyway,
So yeah, that's what you learn. Valdeth, you're heading off to find more information about the Swordmaster. Make me another investigation check as you pass by it's just a forge, like in the middle of the library.
Nothing special about it, just a standard forge.
Just a forge.
Like it's
I mean,
further than that.
it's in the library. That's something special, but like,
Yeah, it's like, but other than that, it seems like a completely mundane forge.
Yeah.
So weird. Investigation. Oh, do I still have the advantage from enhanced
at
ability?
this point, no. At this point, no.
I feel like enhanced ability only lasts like an hour or something.
Well, still 23.
Yeah, it only lasts an hour.
So as you approach Jack and get let into the thing, he comments that yes, no, somebody filed away that forge for archival purposes.
Held a forge? Okay.
Yes.
Why archive that forge in particular?
I don't know.
All right then.
So
I don't
23
know. Jack Salzbach, who in this iteration is played by James Mason.
So about you learn about some of the swords of Najerem. He seemed to have made many swords. None of them that you're able to read about classified as a mortal blade. You do learn that towards the end of his life, he did sort of like pour the all the masterwork of his being into crafting one final blade. That was meant to stop a great beast. There's no many details on it. Though the information you find does note that it's odd that the blade itself was dull. It did not have an edge, which seemed to the swordsmaster to be built to purpose.
Interesting. So it's not going to. I would suspect that the blade we're looking for is dull, at least to appearances.
Jack,
Yes,
question.
certainly.
Do you have any information about the origin of Dagoth?
No.
None at all? No creation myth? No.
You sort of see
I would
his-
imagine most deities have some sort of fairy tale that they tell.
you sort of see his head sort of tilt as he's like scanning through his mental archive. We have creation myths for a variety of. We have a creation myth for a wide variety of the deities worshipped within this realm, but none for Dagoth.
question, because I that's the god I worship. Would I know anything further, or
You make a religion check.
okay? Well, just to see. I'm curious. I'm not good at religion, but 8.
You do know that tenant the followers of Dagoth do not believe in writing down their beliefs, because all things perish in the end and turn to ash. Therefore,
Fair.
there's no point in writing it down.
Okay. What are those gods? Okay.
The don't need the bullshit excuse brand of nihilism.
They're an oral tradition. They don't write things down, basically.
We don't write stuff down about Dagoth. It doesn't really get written down, so that's not surprising.
That's entirely unhelpful. That is useful information to know, but that is entirely unhelpful to our situation.
Fair.
I would suggest if you wish to learn more about Dagoth, you would find a priest or cleric or somebody that worships him.
I think we probably should.
Yes, we should.
I also found in mine, I explain about the what was his name? Durgi. He's an adventurer who wrote down a bunch about rituals to summon his reapers. So maybe if we head that direction, you might know some priests.
Those two are not necessarily unrelated matters, so that may be useful.
Are we all good here? We let the other group know we can.
I would imagine.
John, what would the role be for Gent's basic knowledge of the ethereal plane in general?
Nature or Arcana.
Okay. All right, 25's not bad.
The border ethereal is basically a mystical mirror of the material plane. It is an overlay. If you think of reality as the light shown through a projector, the material plane is the first transparency that you put on the projector. The ethereal plane is the second.
Yep. Is 25 enough to know about like ethereal storms and shit?
Yeah, 25. You know that the ethereal plane is not exactly the same as the material plane. There are entities that live in the ethereal plane that are different from. You've seen them because your goggles let you see to the ethereal plane.
Right. Yeah.
So you've witnessed that there are oddities of the ethereal plane, including that yes, there are like differentiating weather patterns, and it doesn't interact with physical objects the same way that it interacts with nature and the like.
Yep. They have ether cyclones. They're terrible.
Not everything that exists in the material plane exists on the ethereal plane, and vice versa, which means sometimes you can walk through a wall, sometimes you can't, depending on whether or not it exists on both planes.
Exactly.
My ethereal plane, it's very short. I can step in and out basically in a round, mechanicalize. But it should at least can maybe try and open a door or figure out if there's a way, or at least confirm that we're in the right spot for that.
Well, I suppose we'd better get going then, unless we can find out what else we need. We'll see what the others came up with. They might have picked up on similar concepts.
Yeah.
So, the group of you all, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to look for, reconvene just beyond, just at Jack's desk, at which Jack is sitting.
Yep. Well, we found out some things. Regurgitate, blurb.
You all trade information back and forth.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fair assumption.
You know, I was looking for something about Ever Ice, for that drink I wanted to make, but I think I've cracked it. We need to get some penguins.
I'm sorry, what?
You take a look at these things. Just 3 times the size of a dwarf, huge razor sharp fangs, all sorts of fur and blubber to keep them warm.
I would like to make a nature roll.
Yeah, that's probably the
Make a
better.
nature roll.
Same.
I'm from the desert. What the fuck's a penguin?
I told you, they're 12 feet tall, terrified.
They sound like fearsome creatures.
Everyone.
Oh, those
What?
are some real middling rolls, y'all.
But competent.
I was gonna say
Wow,
competent
okay.
though.
Okay.
I don't know.
believe
I
you
mean,
about
it's
penguins.
an Antarctic creature, y'all. I don't know
I
about
had-
this, gang.
I've been all over the place.
There are 2
None
fearsome
of-
things in the north: a penguin and Galadir.
None of you have ever met a penguin in real life, so as far as you know, he might be right.
I accidentally rolled
even with
advantage.
all
You
and I
know
the-
still
what?
only
No,
got a-
no,
Even
no.
with all the worlds she's gone to, Vespia has never encountered a penguin
Vespia has
before.
never encountered a penguin
Oh,
before.
that's
Go ahead.
crazy.
Do you have inspiration, Sin? Go ahead.
You know what? You know
Use it.
fucking what? Fuck this.
You have an
That's so
identity
hard.
that knows of penguins.
Yeah.
I know this is where I rolled a 1. I know it is,
Uh-huh.
but
Oh, I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. Well, I mean, they
It's
sound
not
fairly
funny.
fearsome and
I'd be
terrifying.
really pissed if I were you. But it's kind of funny.
I feel it's slightly unlikely that a naturally occurring being is strong enough to take on, Tenalian, but it might be worth looking into if we
Well,
happen to be in
no,
the
sir.
area.
I'm not saying it's plan A or anything, but
Tame penguin backup might not be the worst idea that anybody's ever
if
come up
they're
with,
as fearsome
tactically
as he
speaking.
says, maybe if we get a bunch of them, they could at least serve as a significant distraction.
I think.
Where are
Does
they?
any-
Can you
found?
ride them?
If you
that's a
could
great
name them,
idea.
of course. I would imagine a whole cavalry of penguins. I think we're onto something.
does anybody here know how to tame, communicate with, ride, or mobilize an army of penguins?
Oh, no idea. Not at all.
I mean,
Moving
I've
on
never-
then.
I've never seen a penguin, but I'm pretty good with animals.
I'm reasonably competent with beasts myself, yes.
I actually have spells that elicit communication as
Better
well.
and better. All right, so again,
Yo,
We'll have to-
a
we'll have to
primary
go in-
For
plan.
fucking real,
Hang on, I'm actually just
We'll have to
curious.
move that up the list of like going.
Yeah, he probably doesn't know what the fuck they are either. She's like, I've never heard of this fucking bird, but it
Please
still
do
doesn't
not
sound
send
good.
us off on a months-long side quest
Please do.
This is no,
where
this is
we
a retirement
learn
plan.
that penguins are just little.
Look,
Fucking
look,
sea
All
chickens.
jokes aside,
nobody,
Yes.
this
nobody
is something
for
I would
some
absolutely
reason.
encourage if it wasn't like the end of the world. Like if we were like on a regular adventure and we had fucking a month to piss around and find fucking penguins to figure out that they're really not all that ferocious, I would absolutely encourage this. But this is kind of the end of the world. So
Yeah, for some reason, maybe the end of the world, nobody wanted to go on my side quest to get some ice to make a kick-ass drink, but now I've got you hooked.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I know that on this completely useless, although admittedly very entertaining side quest, this is the point where my character dies.
Right? Yeah. Mhm.
Eaten alive by penguins.
I have a
Like, it
strong
will
like the
feeling-
badgers.
100% happen. Don't
I
get
have
me
a
wrong. I
strong
already have my
feeling that this-
backup character, but
I have a strong feeling that the Ever Ice and the cocktail related to it is actually plot critical, and John is just consistently kicking himself like, why did I fucking give this to Craig?
I throw out my tactic is to throw out 50,000 plot hooks and see what you bite on.
And
Oh,
I
we've
will
got
come back
this
with
one.
penguins every time, John.
Well,
If
if we can find any, then it might be worth looking into.
First,
yeah, where are they found?
Oh, down at the South Pole.
That is sort of the opposite direction from where we were planning on heading, though.
Absolutely the opposite direction. Let's put a pin in that.
Well, from what I've heard, the whole world is a globe. And he sort of stops. Who's standing closest to Grumman?
I'm gonna say me.
He leans over to Annabelle and goes, "That's right, isn't it?"
Yes, honey, that's right.
So I mean, it's not exactly the opposite direction. We just go towards anything and keep going, and we'll eventually get there.
Grumman, honey, no.
That's not how spheres work.
As I was saying earlier, I think we need to make a list of priorities.
All right.
Indeed.
Actually,
I'll take notes again. He pulls out one of those little pencil nubs that you get at the library.
Right, yeah.
Craft
Little
paper.
golf pencils, right? Yep.
I did have a couple of ideas. We could use the individual that I read about was actually a golden great worm that had been cursed into a mortal body. I had an idea. Could summon a draconic spirit from one of the other planes. They may be a bit older and knowledgeable of other draconic spirits. Perhaps I might even be able to summon a specific spirit.
So let me get this straight.
never
You
tested
just
the
use the
bounce.
words great worm, summon, and spirit at the same time. And like, that sounds like a good idea to you?
Yes, because what I would summon would not be a great worm. It would be in a much diminished form.
Also,
If I could even specifically summon that creature, but it was just any draconic. I am sure if a great worm is able to be cursed, that story would percolate through that community.
But
Also-
utilizing the draconic spirits that you can summon is basically information closer to the
Yes.
source.
Yes, much how many wizards summon demons for information.
Mm.
The other is
I forgot you guys do that.
not all wizards.
Hashtag not always.
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag not all wizards.
Those dragons.
The other is the information that you found, Annabella. The individual that didn't realize how they transported themselves across long distances. They were near that area. They actually got in and then they ended up in desolation, or is it the other way around?
Other way around. They were
Other way
in
around.
they were in desolation. They were exploring the ruins of some of the Titan ruins there, and found themselves near the peninsula in question.
We could try to search the corpse the skeleton in desolation and see if we too can find that door.
Well, to confirm, at least as far as I remember, I don't have any confirmation that they're dead. Right? Do I, John?
I was a couple hundred years ago.
It was a couple hundred years
was-
ago. So it might you did get confirmation of what they were, so they might still be alive. They could be like if they were an elf or something. Yeah.
I was thinking about something else. I thought you said it was a couple years ago.
Couple
So
hundred.
it was a
years
couple
ago.
hundred years ago. Okay.
So unless they're an
that's
elf or
completely
something,
different.
then,
Yes.
probably dead.
Probably dead, yeah. And so if we could find out what happened to them, then yes.
I should note,
And of course,
dragons aren't universally evil. Some of them are helpful, and according to the story that Ithram had, this one was only considered a tyrant by his enemies.
Wait, we ran into
That's
that
a
very
valid point.
helpful
That's an
one.
absolutely valid point.
Yes.
The one that
Max and Dantalus?
yeah.
There's also actually a brass draconic spirit that gifted me, and he actually holds up, his arms, and there's a slight sheen of scales on his forearms now.
Nice.
But it's an avenue for we need information, and they might have it.
it's an avenue that we can pursue without incredibly distracting from our other goals as well. So,
Mhm.
And we do know that the entrance to whatever this peninsula is found in the ethereal realm. It is guarded, and the rest of the peninsula is half slipped out of our current dimensions of space and time. So, if there is a portal to there in Desolation, it would be a lot faster to get from here to Desolation than it would be to trek all the way up there and just flail around in the ethereal, probably.
Sounds perfectly reasonable.
I could also ask my parents in the Legion to see if there is any stories of an individual that disappeared and then returned after that sort of incident where some odd teleportation, or if there's any stories that they know of, any areas when they explore to avoid.
All right. Well,
Well,
let's
that's
investigate our information closer to the sources then.
You're from Desolation, aren't you, Ithram?
Yes, the Legion patrols an area.
Oh, fantastic. Well, yeah, I'd love to meet your parents. I mean, I know we got bigger fish to fry, so to speak, but it's always nice to know where friends came from.
It is. I think there's a few that would enjoy you. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. I always like to eat people's food from back home, so you'll have to point out your favorites to me.
Definitely.
We're traveling? Ready? We should probably leave the library first, but
Yes.
Yeah.
unless you want to get there via plane
Agreed.
shift, yes.
Yes, teleporting out to the library is never an advisable course of action, Jack will say.
probably.
So I've got Ithram's suggestions. Anybody want me to add anything else to the list?
I did get well, not to the list, but I did get more information on the mortal blade. Apparently, it's a dull blade, at least by appearances. Its cutting edge is not physical.
And Nixa and I want to go find a priest of Dagoth. We think this adventurer Dirgi might know where to talk to someone and knows some rituals about summoning reapers and things. So
Well, and if they're the sort of person that pokes around secretive areas, given that you said they're from the Shattered Lands, they might be able to give us a hint as to where that temple is that's holding the ritual of apotheosis as well.
no.
Possibly. I don't know. Do we want to try for this desolation trip first, though?
Yes. I think so.
Dissenting viewpoints? Penguins noted.
To dissent, as I said, not plan A. So yeah, Desolation. I'll vote for Desolation.
Plan P.
Plan Penguin.
I agree.
Sounds good to me.
Excellent.
All right, so you all decide that Desolation.
How long
is
has it
the
been
idea.
since you were back home, Ithram?
It has been a couple months. I've been mostly keeping on the move and staying in the tower. But last I checked, what area were they? I mean, they have their own territory. They have a territory they roam. So I mean, I guess we can also just send them a message and see where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, you
last
don't know
I
where they're
checked,
at right now, so.
Okay. Last I checked, they seem to be doing all right in keeping an eye out for any demonic incursions.
Well, let's get outside and you can contact him and figure out where we're going.
I start futzing around with my Crystalline Chronicle because I got to change a spell.
I like to think that you're basically treating it like a fidget sphere. You're just like,
Oh yeah, definitely like the.
Are we out of the library yet?
All the
Not yet,
facets just spin, and you just like
yeah.
twirls it around like a Rubik's cube.
So you all
Well,
head to the
Jack,
door.
pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Of course. I will see you all when you next need to delve my stacks for information.
Very good to meet you. Thanks for all your help.
Of course. Pleasure. as
Oh, could you-
always.
Could you post these for me, please?
Certainly.
Give him a subscription card.
Takes them.
There are
He grabs
mailbox in
them.
here? They're
He
probably-
grabs them one between each finger and just.
It was entirely sufficient.
That is all I ever desire to be.
And exit.
Fare thee well in thy god-killing errands.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Door opens. Black void ahead of you. You step through. Find yourselves once again outside a small, squat, single-story black building on the empty streets of Core.
As soon as we step out and the door closes behind us, Gent turns right back around and knocks on it again.
Yes, destination.
Desolation.
The door opens. There is blackness beyond.
What?
I don't know if I trust that, Gent.
Gent pulls out a rope, ties it around his waist, tosses one end to Valdeth,
Grabs it.
puts his hands on either side, and just sticks his head through.
You
Seems
stick your head
poorly
through.
planned.
Mm-hmm.
And as you stick your head through, the rest of you follows.
Okay.
And as the rest of him follows, that rope falls.
Cuts.
Okay. Well, you know.
Well, that is cast the die. I walk through.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Were we gonna split up at that point?
Everyone's just like, wait.
I mean, you're just gonna let Get die, but I mean, just
Like I said, I got a backup character. This one's psychic.
two corpses go through the door. Who remains?
I'm gonna try the earring because
Yeah, we have the earrings. We're gonna try and sending to
Are
Gent.
you still alive?
All right.
Or-
Meanwhile, Gent
Mhm.
and
Yep.
Sin.
Yep.
So there's a particular sensation that you get when you're falling.
Mhm.
You're getting it right now. When you stepped through the dark, the black, instead of comfortably stepping out into another room, what you ended up stepping out onto was the shattered remains of a floor that was not large enough to support you as you began to fall. Meanwhile, Titania
Yep.
sends you a message. What do you
Okay.
say?
Gent uses his reaction and fires his grappling gun.
The grappling gun sticks into the. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes. Don't take damage.
All right, yeah. So yeah, you catch it as you see Nixia falling towards you.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, it's not Nixa anymore
Sorry.
because that was chain personas when you go through. This is the Drow. This is Zara.
You see Zara falling towards you. Do you go to catch?
Okay. Does Zara look like they're in the middle of casting anything?
That is a good question. Let me see if I have anything that could prevent me from falling forever.
I was gonna say whether
I
like,
don't think I do, but
Oh,
Just catch him on the next pass.
do I see? So to be clear, just to clarify, is there anywhere that would be that you could perch on, whether I can physically maneuver to it or not?
Make a perception check. See if you can catch it before you fall too far.
21.
21. Yeah. Yes. There. So what you sort of very quickly glance around as you begin to fall. You see that this is actually looks like it was built onto like looks like some sort of mountainside something at one point. And you can actually see where the mountain itself is. There's plenty of places to like step on. It's just that the door opens into where the floor was, and the floor is gone.
Right. Okay. So I will. I mean, it doesn't matter which one I use, so I will dimension door to the closest thing.
So yeah, you're falling, you turn, and you land basically on this, effectively on the other side of the door that you had just stepped through. That isn't a door. You see a,
Right.
you see a door frame and stone floor that has crumbled away into a pit, into a drop into clouds at the moment. It's just a dust cloud that Gent is currently hanging inside of. You don't see how far the drop is.
Responding to Titania, we're alive, but there is a hell of a first step coming through that door.
Okay. Do you see, is the door open behind you? Can you come back, or what did?
It's as far on your end, it's an empty archway. There is no return
Right.
trip.
One way.
Okay. So to the rest of the group, they stepped into, I don't know, a drop, a very large stair. It's not really clear.
Hang on a minute. Valdeth puts the sending stone in her ear. Gent, did you actually end up in desolation?
Sorry, love, hanging off a wall right now. Can't really tell, but
Are you all right down there?
just hanging out for the moment.
I forgot about your drow accent.
Let me be seen what I can do. Hold on just a moment.
It's changed.
It just
It always changes.
You just went to like Indian tech support. You need to stop.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
Can we hear any of this?
No, it's Valdeth is hearing it just from the conversation between Valdeth and Gent because of the sending
I have a thing that can
the
cast
link
fly.
pearls. The link pearls that they have.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how audible they are to people who don't have them.
You're hearing Valdeth's side of it, but not the other side.
Okay.
I can do a thing that can cast fly on a few of us, and I can fly.
How far down is Gent?
From you right now,
Yeah.
what would you say the range on that was, Gent?
On the
grappling hook.
cable, on the
Yeah.
grappling hook, I think it's like 15 feet.
I thought it was like 60 feet.
Oh, 50, 50.
50 feet. Yeah, 50 feet.
50
he's
feet.
50 feet down.
Okay.
I just rolled a 20. How worried does Valdeth look?
Moderately worried, but definitely.
I'm going through the door.
Wait.
Nope, Grumman's gone.
All
Fucking.
right, Grummond, you step to the door and you are falling. Gent, there's a Grummond coming at you.
Cool.
Mix again. Don't worry, I'm coming.
Fuck it. I'll try and catch him.
All right, give me
I've
an
got a
athletics-
free hand.
athletics or acrobatics check for both of you.
Athletics for me.
I can
16.
cover the rest of us with fly.
24.
Yeah, no, you managed to catch Grummond. You push off the wall, catch Grummond, and pull him back down.
Down.
Make me a Constitution saving throw as you slam into the wall.
So
right.
now that Grummond has thrown himself in there, you can cover the rest of us with
I
fly.
can cover the rest of you with fly. Yes.
Didn't we?
Oh
A
god.
method to my madness. 17.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Now, the only problem right now, Gent, is that Grummond's heavy,
Right.
and you're currently like one arm up, one arm down.
Oh yeah, no, I'm Captain Americaing this with the helicopter and the landing pad.
Use that wall running speed to good use, Grummond.
Yeah, I mean, I'll sort of hop over towards the wall, and then is there space on the wall next to Gent?
I mean, you
I mean,
can-
I'm hanging on the face of a sheer wall, pretty much, right?
yeah, it's a sheer
Yeah.
cliff.
Mhm.
All right. So
Okay, really quick, Sin,
Yes.
what you doing?
Before you get a chance to do anything, Sin is polymorphing Gent
Okay.
Into what?
into, I believe I believe I can at this point on size wise. You're gonna be a giant eagle
Okay.
so that you can carry Grummond
Mhm.
and hopefully get up here. If I need to size it down so that he can fit in the hole, I will do so.
Large creature.
All right. Are you willing to be polymorphed, Gent?
I don't think Gent is aware, so technically, yes.
All right. So yeah, you turn into a giant eagle, and you can
Come up.
Grummond, yeah, Grummond, you can
Right.
climb, so you can.
Get you're a druid. I will. Yeah, I will just. I will sort of climb up onto onto Gent's back.
Okay, I've got a fly speed, sure.
And Sin had changed before going through the portal, or no?
While going through the portal.
Okay, all right. So Grummond's just like, Nixa, where are you? Don't worry, Nixa, we're coming.
I am right here.
Oh, you did it again. Hello. Here, grab onto my hand.
They're on
I'll-
safe ground.
I'm above.
Yeah.
I'm where the hole that you fell through is.
Oh, just jump down then. It'll be fine. I'll catch you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
not.
Okay.
At this point, I feel because giant eagles do not have a hover speed, so I have to
flown.
have been flying in order to not plummet.
Yep.
And are we like inside the tube of a tower, or is this like a flat wall with just space on the other side?
It's the top of a mountain
Okay.
that has
okay.
been sheared in half.
Okay.
As you
So,
fly
yeah.
away from it and look,
Mhm.
it's
Right.
the top of a mountain that ends before the top of the mountain should be, and it's been sheared in half right where that floor breaks that you came through.
Okay. He'll wheel back around and see if what's the drow's name? Drow identity's name?
Zara.
Zara. See if Zara can get on.
Are we not waiting?
Zara's
He's
at
just
the
gonna
top-
be making looping passes at this point because he
Yeah.
can't talk now and he's a bird. The best he knows.
For-
Oh god,
for-
these things are so stupid.
For
They have an intelligence
clarification,
of
by
8.
the way, Zara's at the top of the mountain on firm ground with no
Oh,
Right.
okay.
falling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't
Yeah, okay.
need I don't need to be rescued from anything. I'm just
Okay.
waiting there.
So stupid.
Where
the
the
bird with
portal is.
near average human intelligence.
It's
Right.
got an intelligence of 8.
That was
Yeah, that's almost
Yeah.
an average human
It is.
intelligence.
It
Yeah, I
is
know.
almost equally intelligent as Grummond. No, it is equally intelligent to Grummond, and it is smarter than bees.
I'm just waiting for the sending communication and then
Just eagle
they
screams
just get
back.
back.
Oh god, the feedback.
All right. So yeah.
Well, I mean, the last thing that Gent said to Valdeth was that he was hanging off a cliff. So the
Right.
next thing is, I believe Sin has a link pearl at this point.
Do I?
I believe we've gotten Sin a link pearl at some
I
point.
feel like everybody
If I
was
do,
gotten
cool.
a-
I just
yeah.
legitimately
I've-
I was
Sin was definitely in a place where we got
Okay.
them a link pearl. Yeah. Mhm.
so there's a
So-
sigh.
Yeah, so Valdeth will link pearl. I didn't see who you were changing into on the way in.
It's quite fine.
Where do you have a visual on where you actually are?
Yes, we are on the side of a sheared mountain.
Does that sound like a mountain in desolation?
It feels like desolation to me.
Possibly.
Those
You
look,
don't know.
sound like a mountain. In
So I look over to Ithram. Is it on the top of a mountain that's been sheared clean? Is that a thing in Desolation?
Oh, Titan Cleft. Yes.
Ah, yes. I know where they are.
We should go.
Yes,
They might be
uh,
dead already.
Yes,
Please
we
hurry.
should hurry before this door shuts.
Yes. You want to give us all flight?
Yeah, and as we go through, I am going to cast fly out of the staff. And I have to cast it at 6th level. So I can cover me and 4, 5, 6, 3 other people. So
you, Annabella,
y'all fly for 10
Ithram, and
minutes.
Valdeth. So you,
I have-
Annabella,
I
Ithram,
have-
and Valdeth.
I have flight. I'm just trying to find it.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'll cover yours. For
Yeah, because you're a druid. You can just wild
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah, I just do that. Because I
isn't
don't know.
fly
what Vespia's stuff
concentration?
is.
Yes, but
I can
wild shape doesn't
concentrate
take
on stuff
concentration.
while I'm, in
Mhm.
wild shape. I have to do it before I wild shape, but I can.
Yeah,
keep
the classic.
concentrating.
The classic druid business.
Yeah,
Cast it, then
I've
shift.
done this before.
The Geagle is going to come and land next to Zara.
You are welcome.
I figured out a name for you. Egent.
What's Grumman's armor class?
Yes. That is the appropriate question.
What
Yes,
what
and I think I'm a bold.
Jack, what's the answer that you want to do something funny because it's that?
So an 18 for 9 piercing damage to express displeasure to Grummond at this
Now,
naming
Grumman's
concept.
AC is 21, baby.
Okay, never mind. So you get snapped at.
Oh, it's so disorienting. I know you're trying to talk, but that's okay. Don't worry. I'll come up with more names for you.
So we
You
step
should
through.
That
be
we-
hur-
we
you should
step
definitely
through.
be hurrying before
Oh,
your
The other-
partner kills the dwarf.
That's a very good question. Did Grummond jump off then when we landed?
No, I mean,
Okay, we are back out in open air and he is doing
Oh.
barrel rolls.
Oh God.
oh, look at you. Oh, this is fantastic. I'm going to see if I can find a good spot to give the Egan to Scritch.
What
that's
check
a
is
12.
it to try and throw a dwarf off into
12.
open air?
On the other hand, maybe you should wait. This is getting interesting.
Opposed acrobatics checks.
And,
All right.
Okay, so that's just a
You have
dex
to
check
use
from
the
this eagle.
Eagles. Yeah, you do the
Oh,
Eagles
that was a
acrobatics.
real low one, though. That's a 13.
I just realized that we're playing.
Mine are
our
coming through
characters
as
a bit
whispers. I got a
similarly.
9.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you're hanging on there, buddy.
Oh,
We'll let a couple more rounds happen before I try again.
real
Yeah,
serious
we
So-
fly through.
The rest of you come through the door.
I feel like I'm an eagle too, because that's usually like the it's either been that or like a
Or the giant fly.
vulture.
4 flying adventurers and a giant eagle fly come through the door and begin to fall, realize you can fly, and fly presumably over to where
Yup.
Sin is currently standing.
I see. Get barrel rolling.
And Grummond just enjoying the ride.
It's just an eagle. Did
Good.
Grumman
Let's
did
see.
Grumman how
Actually,
did Grumman
yeah, no,
find
no.
an eagle?
You
I'm
see an
practicing
eagle.
for-
You see an eagle that Grummond is riding. To be clear, yeah.
Okay.
This
I'm,
doesn't.
I'm practicing for the penguins.
I don't
So-
recognize this breed of eagle. They're generally not this far into desolation.
A
That
giant
is-
fly comes
that is
over.
Ghent.
Oh, that makes more sense. Is why he's flying upside down.
Alright. I'm gonna try and throw him
Again,
off
stop
again.
trying to kill Grummond and get back here.
Natural 1. I'm sure Grummond's fine.
Do not stop. Please do not stop. This is entertaining.
20.
Yep, you're doing great, man.
Oh,
with that-
champion
with-
eagle rider.
Good old time.
With that natural 1, actually,
Mhm.
you sort of like barrel roll and then do an aileron roll. But you're not paying attention to where the cliff is. So you aileron roll directly into the cliff.
Fantastic. I'm super
speed.
proud of this.
What's the maximum fly speed for the eagle?
If I'm dashing 160 feet.
Cool.
John, can I try to steer him away?
You're trying to hold on right now.
Yeah.
but
I feel like
have
you can't
no-
dash while doing complicated
You have no
tricks.
bridle. Well, that's why it's a natural 1. You have no bridle here to like steer with. You just have like handfuls of feathers that you could rip free.
That's not fur.
Words cannot express how happy
Right?
I
I mean,
am
it's
that
not
I
a
caused
penguin.
this.
Exactly. It's
I
not fur.
can
like
feel the
penguin has.
warmth coming from you, Jeremy.
So the giant eagle takes 46 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, that is way more than the hit points of a giant eagle.
And Grummond and Gent are falling again.
How far away? How far away are they from me?
We just hit the mountain, right?
Yeah, you just hit the mountain.
I want to grab it if I can. Grab it with one hand and grab Gent with the other.
Athletics check.
Cool. Wait, athletics?
Yes, to hold on.
Okay.
I'm
I'm assuming.
So-
I'm
Little less confident behind that.
Yeah. 11.
11's enough to grab and hold on the mountain, and grab and hold on Gent. But you do feel your shoulder like wrench a little
Gent
bit.
Gent is not willing to be caught.
Okay. Acrobatics to avoid getting caught.
Acrobatics? Damn it.
Yep.
Okay. 20.
Drummond tries to catch you. You but fails because you wiggle free of the grasp and are falling.
No!
There are 2
I
fingers
failed
pointed
you!
up
I'm
as
okay.
the feather token
let
that I
the
have
people
had
do
for
the
so
things.
fucking long finally goes off, and I descend until I touch ground safely. And I take no
Oh.
damage from falling.
Gent, oh, you made it.
There's not even
Oh.
a time limit on this thing.
Yeah, no, You begin falling very slowly, disappearing into the dust cloud below.
And
There's a
Valdeth
fly.
gets a sending over
Yeah.
the earring. I'll tell you what's at the bottom.
If you fucking die to whatever's down there because you wanted to be fucking petty to Grummond, I will have Titania revive you so I can kill you myself.
Meanwhile, Grummond's hanging from the side of the mountain going, they look like good, strong hands, don't they?
No, absolutely not.
So Ithram,
Yes.
You monster.
this
You
mountain
basically just
is
killed Gent.
known as Titan's Cleft for 2 reasons. One, long ago, a massive sword, presumably belonging to the Titan, cut this mountain in half.
Yeah.
In doing so, it separated one of the islands off the coast of Desolation from the mainland. At the bottom of the cleft is a massive, ancient, rusted, two-handed sword that belong, or double-sided sword, a double-edged sword that belonged to the Titan, and ocean, which is what Gent is heading for.
Yes. Titania, how big of a bird is Titania?
I'm a
A
fly.
fly. It's a giant
you're a
fly.
fly.
Giant fly, and I'm
Oh,
flying
giant fly.
down because I just
Yeah.
saw Gent plummet, and I don't.
Yes.
And I can tell he's going slowly, but I don't know it's down there, so I'm going after him.
So I can still use the earring to
Yeah.
send a message to Titania.
Mhm.
All right. Yes, you're going to want to catch him quickly. There is nothing but ocean below him, so it
And
will
a-
be
And a sword.
and a very rather large sword.
Zzz.
So,
I can't talk.
Yeah.
but you
So
get
how long?
buzzing.
How fast does the fly fly?
That's a good question. Giant fly.
What's the falling speed on the feather token?
60
Mhm.
feet per round. So as long as this fly has a fly speed of more than 30, she can catch me.
I'm running after him down the side of the mountain. Jesus.
Abseiling down the mountain.
Oh, boy.
What? No, I mean, my monk shit. I can just run on vertical surfaces, and I can go.
Yeah,
100
not forever.
As
I
long
go
as he keeps moving.
Yeah, as long as I keep moving. And besides, what am I going to do between rounds? Fall? That's okay. It's the same direction. I'll just start moving on my next turn. I can go 100 feet around, straight down. I can
60
catch you,
feet fly
motherfucker.
speed.
Actually, while you're falling, you fall 500 feet around.
Not with. Well, okay, no, but I'm running at my speed on a vertical surface.
Yes, you do have slow fall, which so you can use your reaction to fall
Yeah.
to. Actually, so slow fall doesn't actually slow your fall. It reduces the reaction. It reduces the reaction when you fall to reduce any falling damage you take by an amount equal to 5 times your monk level.
Right.
So it doesn't actually slow the rate at which you fall. It just reduces the amount of damage you take when you fall. When
tuck
you
and
fall on 5e, you fall 500 feet in a round unless you have some way to slow your fall, like with the feather token or something. Let's see.
No, but
Yeah,
my point is I can take on my turn I can run 100 feet down, which is more than enough to catch up to Gent and catch him.
Yes.
And then I can end my turn by just reaching out and grabbing the edge.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how quickly you're going to get to him, because if at any point you have to end your turn before you've gotten to him and held on the edge, you might fall depending on what you're doing. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly what your speed and everything is.
Also, to be fair, if you really, really need to, you can also dash as a bonus action for a key point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Step of the Wind is one of your keys, one of your basic key abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn! I've never had to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you can't do what you're trying to do. I'm just trying to figure out the math. Because monks are weird and break things.
Meanwhile, Ithram's just at the top. He sets his shield about arms height, shoulder height.
Okay, so yeah, you have the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during your move. So, which means when you stop, you fall. Unless you're holding on to something. So you don't actually have a climb speed, it doesn't look like.
No.
Which means you do have to check to grab.
So this is into like kind of shitty mechanical stuff, but doesn't that mean I could just go down 100 feet and then just like grab the wall and then when it's technically my turn again, even though the way that turns work, it would be continuous, I could just do it again?
Yeah, and Gint's falling slow enough that you can catch up to him. What's your movement speed?
It's 50.
50, so has already fallen 60 feet from where you're at. 50
So I
would
can
get you
catch
within
him in
10
one
feet.
turn. I can dash.
Yeah, you can catch him with one turn.
Yeah. I'll spend a key point if you want me to. So another set of opposed rolls.
I mean, that's up to Gent.
Yeah, no, Gent literally pushed away from the. I don't think I'm within arm's reach of the cliff right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Actually,
yeah,
no,
that's
fair,
the thing. Right. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Pushed away.
Right. Gent was falling at
You'd
an
have to-
angle specific.
You have to leap
yeah.
out to get him, basically, if you wanted to catch him.
Yep. So yeah, you can chase me down the cliff, but I do not think you can reach me unless you've got something that can extend your.
Look, this is
because he's
Gent's-
probably at least
this is
20
Gent's-
feet away.
This is Gent's
You know,
last stand.
Jack, it's funny you say that. Can I grapple with my Eldritch Claw tattoos?
I
They
don't
do.
know.
They do. If you activate them, they do extend your melee reach.
They extend your melee reach, and grapple is a melee attack, so yes, you can.
Yeah, okay.
This is fucking great.
All right, so running down after you. Don't worry, again. I'll save you.
All right, I'm taking the dodge action on my turn.
Really quick, Mara.
Yeah.
Which one?
I'm flying down. I'm a giant fly. I have a speed of 60 feet. I'm dashing.
Okay, so you're coming from the top, so
Yeah.
you're a little bit further behind.
Well, I was like near. I wasn't like super near them when Gent turned back. But I was like kind of flying around, watching Grummond. You know. do
Yeah,
his
so we'll
thing,
say with your dash, you, Grummond, and Gent are all sort of colliding in the same location at a time.
Okay.
Valdeth is like this close to just Hell's Gate on Gent. Just the Sephiroth move, just sword down.
Not a great roll. 17.
No, not my AC is 18.
Okay.
To be fair, a grapple is an athletics check.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Well, I mean, in this part, rolling to hit before you can make the athletics check because Gent's actually trying to dodge. So Mara, you are there as a giant fly.
Yep.
Grumman tried to catch Gent and couldn't. Gent is actively trying to fall.
A compound eye turns and looks at you.
Oh, if Titania comes down, he will reach out and grab onto Titania. Absolutely.
So you come down. Gent is sort of drifting downward, fending off these whip-like grasps of this glowing geometric grain pattern that is whipping off of Garmin's arms. Grumman is like there are like tears pouring down his face as he runs down the face of the mountain. He's like, "I'll save you! Don't worry, I won't let you down."
I love you.
So Mara,
Yep.
do you let Gent try to grab you so he stops falling? Or do you let him face his consequences?
No, I'm gonna let him grab on.
Okay.
And then we're gonna keep going down.
Okay.
He's got different consequences to face when he runs into Valdez again.
Yeah.
I hate to say this.
Yep.
Has Grumman's never seen you as a giant fly.
No.
And you just came out of nowhere swooping the Gent, right?
With a bunch of the other people, I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
You would have seen the fly appear with the others.
Because you were still. I thought I was more focused on Gent fucking flying me into a mountain.
You were still flying around the area. You would have seen all the other people, and the giant fly is hard to not notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a giant fly.
That's fair. Thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, otherwise, there's no way he wouldn't use a key point to flurry of blows. Okay.
While all this is happening, up at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
We're having a whole conversation.
Yeah. Ithram has his Ithram just takes his shield, walks to about 2 feet from the edge, just puts his shield at about shoulder length, lets go of it, because this is the shield that he cast a movable object at 6th level on a while ago.
Yeah.
So now it's just permanently immovable. Ties a rope to the handle and just, lets it drop for whoever's going to need it. So it goes about 50 feet down.
Yeah. Nowhere near where they're at right now, but it's there.
Yeah. Turns back and just looks at Zara and Vespia, and I think he already said that to Zara, and then just turns to Vespia and goes, "Did the books of the True Library mention any of this type of behavior?"
No, actually, she's just staring at this in disbelief. It made you all seem somewhat confident or competent.
That's what good editing does.
I take it those two have some issues to work out.
Indeed.
Yes,
Valdez, you can't, she's not saying anything, but you can hear the internal swearing and like the long tirade going on in Valdez's head as her face is going everything between disbelief and just burning anger, and just like
you can hear the sound of the grinding teeth a mile away.
I honestly believe that Gent has issues to work out with literally everyone except for Titania and Valdez.
I do not believe I have any issues with Kent at the moment.
Oh, I don't think you have issues with him, but that's not to say he doesn't have issues with you.
I mean, that is a fair point.
It's just got a lot of issues. They're all
He's
stacked
not a
up in a
people
monthly
person.
subscription.
I don't think he knows me well enough to have issues with me.
Oh, he has issues with you. I'm sure. I am 100%.
Ithram walks over and pats you on the back. It's because he doesn't know you.
Exactly. You are not trusted.
But that will change. Hopefully, as he looks over the edge.
Probably not.
Meanwhile,
He's known Grumman for over a year, so.
He avoided Grumman for over a year.
There you go.
as you race to the bottom, you
I'm
realize
not racing anymore. I'm going slowly.
Grumman's racing.
Okay, that's
No, I'm gonna when I see Gent get picked up by the Titania fly, I'm gonna see if I can jump onto the fly.
Oh no. Oh no. No.
You were informed there's nothing but ocean below you, by the way, Titania.
God. Yeah, I know.
Is that an athletics to jump or is that acrobatics to try to grab on?
That's gonna depend on Mara. What do you? Are you gonna help Grumman land on you, or are you gonna let Grumman fall?
God. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make sure he doesn't plummet to his fucking death.
Okay. Athletics then, for distance. Or sorry.
I just want to point out,
acrobatics because she's helping you.
just to make perfectly clear, none of this is Zara's fault.
So just,
No.
No.
There you go. Yeah. So Grumman lands easily enough on the back of the giant fly.
And Gent is also on the back.
Yeah.
Reaches out for a huge hug, still covered in tears. I thought I'd lost you. I'm so sorry. I tried to.
All right, Drummond, you can let go now. Titania, please drop me off at the cliff face. I will walk.
Okay.
I will
I'll
walk
just leave
up.
you two alone.
I will walk up. Thank you. I don't want you to have to carry both of us.
You notice the fly is still flying down.
Oh.
Yep.
The dust
So,
clears
Yep. Okay. We're just going down then, I guess.
from your perspective.
Mhm.
About 3 feet above, what you see at first looks like a giant external cliff that you realize is shaped like a sword that is halfway embedded in ocean. So you see sword, water, some sort of aquatic life.
Is it big?
Yeah.
Cool. We're circling around the open water for a minute.
How low are you getting?
There's something in there, like a good 20 feet up still.
All right, what's your AC?
It's not high enough.
It's 11.
Okay, cool.
As something with tentacles reaches out.
Yeah.
Ithram,
Yeah.
as you're watching them continue to go down, as you lose sight of them in the dust, you're sort of thinking about where the cliff is at, versus what's in the water most likely, and you're sort of thinking, and apropos of nothing, you think and say out loud at the same time,
Oh, fuck.
"Devil shark."
Yeah.
Devil shark.
I'm
Which-
sorry, what?
Yes, darling.
Devil sharks.
Amazing. Oh my god.
In this particular section of the Desolation coastline, you recall the reason the Titan sword clove the mountain in twain, according to legend, was because of a demonic infestation. And the blood of all the demons murdered when the Titan killed the mountain infected the local water life. Which is why there are devil sharks in these waters. So, I need Grumman, Gent, and Titania as a fly to make Constitution saving throws.
That's a 17.
Here's our goldfish moment.
Oh,
I would like
Oh,
to remind
sorry,
you, there,
I-
do not get near the
I got a
water.
5.
There are
16.
creatures called devil sharks nearby. Please turn up as soon as you have the opportunity.
Is that screaming I hear?
So you all fail.
Well, okay.
Join us next week for 3 new characters.
You all 3 take 57 points of cold damage as freezing cold water is shot out of the water at you in a 60-foot cone. You're pushed 20 feet away from the devil shark into the air, and then
I cast.
how's the giant fly doing?
It's dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you casting?
I cast fly. Yeah, I cast fly again.
Okay, targeting the 3 of you.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're moving up now.
You fly up.
Now. Yes.
Grummond and Gent, do you fly up after Ithram? Or after
oh yeah,
Tanya?
oh yeah, yep, nope. Mhm. I
Yes,
trusted Tanya's knowledge of wildlife.
Can I take a quick look to make sure it's not a penguin?
It might be. It is a
I got
large.
a 4. It's a penguin.
It is a
Oh
large.
no.
It is a
We're-
large
we're not
red
prepared.
veiny
Let's
shark
go.
with like thing, but yeah.
Black and white. Yeah.
But yeah, you fly. The 3 of you
Well,
fly.
I
up.
don't see any fur.
How much damage was that again?
57.
57. Okay.
Do you take when you change back? Do you take bleed over? I don't.
Yes.
Remember. Okay.
So as the 3 of them, partially frostbitten from the freezing breath of the devil shark.
Can I try to hear the explosion of magic up from the devil shark?
Make a perception check.
All right. Just because I want to be like, they went too far down. 5, I didn't hear shit.
Too much wind, too much dust. Yeah.
You know what? Inspiration.
There you go.
Natural 1.
Sand in your eye. Fuck.
You hear Grumman say something about penguins?
Yes, as the 3 of you, slightly frostbitten from what just happened, fly back up to safety, and the rest of you watch and wait. That's where we're going to end for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.